morning, everyone. Thank you so much for stepping into my queendom for another exciting episode of Queening with the Empress with me, your host, Patience Pat Phiri. Yollander Millin, like I would love to find out what his name was like in Millin. But anyway, Yollander Millin is a social and economic justice ambassador. Listen, and a gender activist. She's based in Bulawayo. Her work is largely centered around the reduction of inequalities that affect sustainability of livelihoods, especially where women and children are involved. She also is a volunteer with an organization concerned with food security and homelessness under the banner of We Are One movement. She is here with me and we're going to have a fun conversation. Welcome, Yolanda.
Thank you so much. It's quite an honor to be here with the Queen, with the Empress. Istemo Mumankos. Yitilaba.
Yes, Million Mankos. Yes, Mankos. I like that. I like the Mankos. I like it for the Mankos. Okay, so Yolanda, tell me, what has to be one of your most treasured moments from your childhood?
Well, honestly, if I'm going to look back into my childhood, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a traumatic childhood. My mother was, God bless her soul, she was strict. But the values that she put in us, the values of love, the values of ensuring that you are in a safe environment and that the people that are in your environment are safe as well. And also something that I usually laugh at, because whenever we go home and we meet everybody in the family, they will be laughing so hard at how I cried. I still remember even up to this day when Ubabu Joshua Mkabo passed away. My God,
Is it because you had a connection?
Did he really have to go?
Was your connection with him that deep?
Yes, it was. You know how, like, when people are around you and they just speak about how great this man is and how great a leader he is. And, at that time, I was a prefect at school and I always associated myself saying, you know what, I'm a great leader like him. So to have him pass away, I thought like, oh, my world has just ended. My role model is gone. I still remember, even up to now, the passion, the fire within just comes back when I think about him and what he did for us. I'm forever in his debt.
Oh, so when I introduced you, I said you're a social and economic justice ambassador. What is that?
Basically, a social and economic justice ambassador is someone who devotes their time and perhaps resources into monitoring, into evaluating, into reporting on, and into preferring solutions to the way in which people are faring in their social structures, and as well as in the manner in which the state or the status quo around the economy is affecting their livelihoods. So I would say that's a professional definition. But personally, I like defining it, it's just being a resident of the do-good republic, just ensuring that constitutionalism is alive.
Okay, I like do-good republic. I like it. I'm the queen of the do-good republic. I like that. So when we talk about, let's talk economics, because I know that's more your thing. So when we talk about economics in our country, I've discovered that women and young people, who are the majority of the population, somehow tend to be forgotten. Do you think this will ever change? Why does it happen that way? Do you think it will ever change? And how does it affect our day-to-day?
Okay, so basically, in my own understanding, I would say that the brief history is that traditionally we had a family unit where we knew that the standard family, there was a mother, there was a father, there were children. And it was easier for us to say, okay, let the man, as the head of the house, handle the finances, look into how the money is going to be used. So we were comfortable with having men run the economy, you know. But then you find that as times changed and also dynamics changed, you find that the family structure on its own, it changed. We started having a lot of women-led families coming up. We started to have child-headed families coming up. And that shifted the dynamics, like I said. And we are now at a time where we're saying, okay, unfortunately for us, the men, they feel entitled to the economic sector, but they are not including women based on the history that it used to be their domain, but they need to accept change. And the resistance to change is what's making women and the youth sort of be left out. But we need to get to a point where we change mainstreaming. Like you're saying, Peshi, you find that the majority of the population is constituted of women and children, and the youth, let me call them the youth in particular. So these are things that need to change, because at the end of the day, we can't be having policies that are formed for us. You know how we always go about saying, well, what is not for us, what is done for us without us is not for us at the end of the day. So will this ever change? Well, personally, I'm waiting for a day where we're going to have a female minister of finance. But like, I believe that eventually we're going to get a place to where we get there, you know. So like I was saying, I always laugh and say I'm personally a day where the Minister of Finance is a woman. So yeah. So you had asked, will this ever change? And in my response, I'm saying eventually it's going to get to a place where we've got the gender equality that we're crying for, streaming in all our systems, where we are having an adequate youth representation. But it's going to be a process and not an event. So that means the process is something that we need to invest in. We need collaborations that are going to create empowerment of in terms of educating all stakeholders on the importance of having gender mainstreaming, of giving responsibility to the youth. And in this, the civic society organizations really have a long way to go, because education is the way that is actually going to get us to a point where we start changing.
Okay, so we're talking about how change is a process and blah, blah, blah. But what do we need to do? What do we need to? I'm a woman. Most days I'm a youth. Somewhat, it depends who's asking. But what do I need to do? Mina Ngwami Yolanda, how am I part of this process? How do we change it? Or do we sit back and wait for other people to change it so that we can be part of it?
Well, I happened SDGs met in February, and no one is going to come and do it for you. You have to do something now, and you have to do it yourself. Is to like be involved, and it doesn't mean that when you're involved, you are going to the government position, you are going to those elite positions. No, at your level, wherever you are, you can do something that can affect the change that you want to see in the way in which social services are being delivered to you, in this manner in which the economic system is being run. You can make a change, but what you need is to be informed. So information, get yourself appraised in information, know what you're supposed to be doing, like hold people accountable, ask for transparency from people who are running office to say, listen, I've been paying my bills every month, but I do not have quality public services being rendered to me. How is that happening? I had an opportunity to meet the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations in February at the SDG Summit. And my takeaway from that summit was, she said, you know what, you have to do it yourself. No one is going to come and help you. So in essence, I took it to mean in everyday life, at whatever level that you are at, you need to constantly be doing something towards the change that you want to see. If you're not happy about the way in which your public services are being delivered to you, you need to do something at that level that you are at. As taxpayers, it is our mandate, it is our responsibility to hold accountable for that. So we can ask for accountability, we can ask for transparency from them in the way in which they are making decisions in those offices. Because at the end of the day, we are entitled to quality public services. And so at whatever level you are, whether you are someone who is selling vegetables in the street, or whether you are someone who is working in a shop, or you're someone who owns businesses, you have the same mandate to hold people accountable, to demand accountability, to demand transparency in the manner in which they're holding office. Because at the end of the day, your money is being used up. You are a taxpayer, whether you're selling vegetables or whatever. However you are stratified in the social structures, you are paying tax. So you have that mandate to ask, okay, how is my money being used? You see, but also at the same time, I want to conscientize people on the need to play their part, because we've heard situations whereby you hear people saying, city council is not doing A, B, C, D, Zupco is not doing A, B, C, D, but are you as an individual playing your part? Are you paying your rates as you're supposed to, or you are not paying rates? Usule, 1 year, 2 year, not paying rates, but you are demanding for clean water, you are demanding for good roads. I'm not saying you should not demand for those things, but also when I play your part, pay your rates as you're supposed to. So those are some of the things that you can do. Play your part and then demand accountability and responsibilities from office bearers.
Okay. And then when we talk about all these decisions that are made high up by people that at times we feel are out of touch with what's happening on the ground, how does that, from your experiences, affect women and young people on the ground day to day?
Okay, so when we have situations like that, that's when we are having an increase in inequality. If we go back to where I was explaining to you that our family dynamics have changed, now we have a lot of families that are led by women. So women are now the sole breadwinners, and we're having child-based families. But you find that the way in which a woman uses her income is different from the way in which a man will use their income. Women will expend their money on things that are mostly taxed, meaning we're pushing them further into poverty as compared to their counterparts. So, and that on its own, it increases the inequality that is there, the inequality gap, and we're pushing ourselves into being a poor state, a poverty-ridden state. Why am I saying that? Because initially you pointed out that the majority of the population are women. So if we're having the majority being poor, so that basically means we're having a poor state. So what we need to do is to bridge that gap and reduce all those inequalities that are rising from within the systems. And how can we do that? We demand accountability, like I said, from the office bearers. Those people who are high up, who put them there? It's us who put them on that pedestal. So we have to bring them down to our level and say, listen, we put you there so that you can solve A, B, C, D, but we're not getting that. So can you please help us with this situation? And then we make a way forward that works, makes for a progressive state that we want to be.
Okay. So I know you were excited from your social media post about Ngozi Week, hashtag Ngozi Week. You built it up so sesilandela sesifuna ukubona ukuthi how hashtag Ngozi Week uhamba njani. You built it up so much. It was like hashtag Ngozi Week countdown, hashtag. What was it all about?
Okay, so basically Ngozi Week was us creating a platform where we have the people in Ngozi being empowered and also having the required access to services that are so much needed in that area. And I don't know if you know this, but Ngozi Week was a build up from July 2020. So every Saturday we were having a soup kitchen, but that was not just a situation where we would say, you know what, here is a plate of food, eat and go. No, it was an investment into that community. We were finding out, okay, as you eat, this is how we are breaking down. Well, you are using food as a conversation starter around what is affecting them the most. So we would have discussions, you know, interact with the community, and then find out what it is exactly that they need. But because we were not in a position to solve their problems on our own, we therefore helped them by giving them a platform where we are saying, okay, in this 1 week that we called Ngozi Week, we're going to create a platform where you access, you interact with the people who provide the services that you direly need, and thereby, you know, hopefully have some of your problems solved. If they're not going to be solved instantly, at least let's have the process of those problems being solved initiated during Ngozi Week. So that's basically what Ngozi Week was about, creating an opportunity for the people of Ngozi to have access to people who can provide the services that they need.
And just to be clear, Ngozi esikhulumayo Ngozi Mine.
Yes, we're talking about Ngozi Mine, which is an infill area in Bulawayo. Okay, I know if I'm going to say infill, someone is going to say, what's that? Let me be blunt. Unfortunately, I don't like using it. Okay, so Ngozi Mine is the dump site location in Bulawayo, and unfortunately for us, we've got a community that is residing there. We've got families, we've got children who are growing there. Some have been grown there and they are growing up there. We've got one guy who recently started university, and he can tell you that he was born there. So that's basically what we're looking at. And the living conditions in Ngozi, they are not conducive for children, they're not conducive for anyone in that matter. And that's to say what can be done to help these people have a decency in their livelihood.
Okay, so from your experiences in Ngozi Mine, where you volunteer, and like I did say before, you're part of a food organization. We are one movement. From your experiences with everything that you've been doing, the soup kitchens, in Ngozi Mine, all the other things that you guys have been doing, I know you've been to Binga, you've been to Beitbridge, you've been everywhere across Zimbabwe. What would you say is the state of homelessness and food security in, let me say, in Bulawayo, and then cast the net wider and say in Zimbabwe?
Okay, like you're saying, we did visit a lot of places, went to Binga, Plantry, Beitbridge, and also in the local sense, we went to Woodville, Kensington, we went to Ngozi, we went to Source Town. And what I can tell you about those places is that the universal thing about them is that those people are food insecure. And also in the same vein, homelessness is something which is real. Unfortunately, it took COVID-19 to then kind of like open the can of worms that was already existing. But even before COVID-19, the stories that you would hear, you know, those people, they've always been food insecure, and they're still food insecure. And I'm going to be honest with you, my heart breaks as it is, to try and imagine what they are going through. Right now, we are in lockdown. They don't have any essential services that they do that are entitled to working under the restrictions, and they don't have food. They don't have even like from a perspective of the government. There hasn't been anything about rent security. There hasn't been any food aid of some sort that is going to those people. So my heart is with them, because I really fear the worst is happening in those communities, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Food insecurity is real. And also with the issue of homelessness, you find that this thing, sometimes we want to pretend not to be seeing it. We see those boys who are in the streets, and we don't pay much attention as to what is happening to them. But once you are on the street, that means you are homeless. And no one really gives a thought as to why are they there, what can be done for them. Some of them, they've got real stories that even when you listen to it, you see Uguti, these people, they are really homeless. There is no place that they can call home, that they can go back to. That's why they're on the street. That's the last option that they had. So it's really unfortunate. I really hope something can be done. I know around homelessness, there is the Champuda project that was initiated by the First Lady. And yeah, as we celebrate it, I don't know how long it's going to take for it to reach the whole nation. So if there could be like temporary measures that could be made, maybe, you know, in a devolution manner, let's have such a project being done on a provincial level or even on a city level, then maybe we could get a bit of hope. But as it is, that means it's just going to be a process that is going to take longer than we want it to.
Because I was going to ask you that, do you think our government is aware of our problem, or they have decided that out of sight, out of mind? Because if we're looking at it, we spent the better part of the year last year under strict lockdown. Well, we were under lockdown, but we had strict regulations on how to do things. Changed suddenly, and I know, like, say for example, Abantu was mine. They recycle. So bang in a town and pick up tin cans or plastic, whatever. But now they can't do that. So they haven't been able to do that last year. And at the moment, like we're saying, at Lapo, they can't do that. Do you think the government is aware that there is such a thing? Because that also goes into the economy of things, that is affecting so many other things. Because la mandastri, la papa things are Yolanda kuvaliwe. So either way, everything is just so messed up, and there is no funding coming forward, or food packets, or whatever it is. So do you think the government is aware, or maybe abawazi?
I'm not going to be naive and say that the government doesn't know. But listen, I am going to say this. In my own personal view, disclaimer, this is me. I personally think that the government is aware, but their hands are tied. There is so much that they can do, because remember, this is a new normal that we're having. COVID-19 just recently hit us, and we are still in shock. We're trying to adjust. So the government has a lot of decisions that it has to make. And of course, people should always be first. But I feel like because there's a whole lot of decisions that need to be made, it's taking longer to get to those issues. But also at the same time, the situation on the ground is really sorry, and you'd really hope and wish that priority would be given into social services before anything else. Because okay, let's look at the issue of repayment of debt. I think we can put that on hold whilst we invest in the people, because at the end of the day, we may not have people to pay off the debts anyway, because the people are the taxpayers, and taxpayers' money is being used to pay off the debt. So if we don't take, we're not going to have anyone who is going to pay off the debt for us. So that's simply how I think it should be. Like, so let's invest into the people first, and then we can focus on the debt, of which the debt on its own is another can of worms. We need to have an audit, because we can't be having we can't be having taxpayers. People are overly taxed, and the debts, some of them, I think some of them are really odious debts. We don't know how they were contracted. We don't know what they were used for, if they were used for the intended purpose. So we need a debt audit before we can look into the repayment of debt. But my suggestion to the ministry, to the government, would be to say, you know what, let's invest in the people first, then we can deal with everything else later.
I like that. Invest in the people first. Okay, so you talk a lot about sustainability. How do we sustain our communities in 2021, in your opinion? Like, what must happen now? How do we secure food in our communities?
Like I was saying to you, that we're still in shock, we're still trying to embrace the new normal. So, but at the same time, we can't sit back and fold our hands and hope that somebody's going to do it for us. There are the little things that we can do as we try and figure it out. Backdoor gardens have like made a huge difference to people who are doing them. You plant something for your family to eat. That's something that you can do. And there are things that don't need you to go out of the home to do them, yet they are sustainable. You can look at things like maybe also for the youth.
Okay, I'm sorry, Yolanda, I lost you. I lost you there for a moment. You said there are things that don't need you to go out of the house, such as?
Yes, you can invest into gardening. You can do small scale commercial gardening. You can do personal gardening, where you know that you've got everything, every food item that you may need. You are growing it in your backyard garden. And you can also invest in yourself by developing new skills, basketry, plastic weaving, eco bricks. Those are all things that we can do from home. And for those who've got access to the internet, you can be doing online courses. There are a whole lot of free online courses that are recognized, like under the United Nations Women's Portal. I know under Allison courses. I know under the IMF courses. There are so many courses that you can do. So as we try and figure out what to do and how to do it, we can be investing in ourselves such that when the time comes where we know what to do, we've invested in ourselves and we've added value to who we are.
Okay. How have you kept your senses about you during this whole time of uncertainty?
Oh, well, COVID-19 has done a number on me. But I would say I've got a whole lot of goal-oriented friends who have bullied me. And I must admit, I've been bullied into writing. I've always been one who reports back, to say, so this happened, to say, can you please put it in a report for us, or can you please tell the story, that. So someone said to me, what, in 2021, I want you to put it on paper. The stories that you are used to telling us in person, can you please put them on paper? And there was a call for papers under the ECA. I don't know if you are aware of it, but the advert went around and someone said, what, you really have to do this. So I would say up to now, I've been focused on that. Yesterday, I submitted a short story, Tales of Misfortune, which is a literary fiction that is based on social and economic justice issues. So it's something that I'm looking at taking, like a little bit of time to do, like just see if I can be a writer or not. At least let the public judge, because I have put the pen to paper, rather than for me to quickly say, you know what, I can't do it. So yeah, that's what I've been focusing on. I did that short piece, and also because I've got a certificate in gender and mining governance, I've been taking my time and really looking at the inclusion of women in the mining sector, and I'm hoping in a short space of time, I would have written an article about that. So that's really how I've been trying to keep my sanity. But I'm going to be honest, you can't take a lion and put it in the house. You'll never tame a lion.
About gender and mining, that is interesting, because when we hear a lot about mining, especially in Zimbabwe, we hear just men. We don't hear a lot of stories about women going into mining, about women excelling in mining. And
yeah.
Are there a lot of women that have taken up mining?
Well, unfortunately, the roles that women are taking at the moment are like really trivial roles. For example, I visited a mine in Inyati recently, and the mine owner said to me, you know what, we really appreciate having women on the mine, because when the Bambazis come, women scream, and when they scream so loudly that those guys run away. And by the way, Bambaz is a new breed that has come up. If you know the Makorokozas. So now we've got
Amashurukwi, so
Amashurukwi. So Amabambazi are now like an evolution of Amashurukwi. So they are rampant in the Inyati area. And I felt a little bit defeated as a gender activist to have someone say, the role of women is to scream when those guys came. And I was like, okay, so is this what, yes, is this what we've been reduced to? But we do have other women who are investing, but not a lot. And, there really has to be a lot of educating that goes into that sector, not just for women, but even for small-scale miners themselves. They really need an investment of education, because there are a lot of things that are really going wrong. And I hope I'll be able to, by the end of the month, or within the fortnight, be able to release a paper that I can share with people to say, you know what, this is the truth that I've discovered, because there's a lot that is happening, and I'll be, if I tell you, you'll be shook for days. Yeah, so
I can imagine. I have had the pleasure of going to a few mining areas, and the role of women, okay. What have been lessons learned in 2020 that you hope to implement in 2021?
Well, lessons learned in 2020, because we had to be in lockdown for the longest part of 2020. I would say my greatest takeaway is to love more. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to forgive yourself. It's okay to pamper yourself. It's okay. And also, it's okay for you to take a step back and say, you know what, I'm not okay until everyone else is okay. It doesn't hurt to invest in yourself and to also invest in the next person. And the other thing I would say is the need to stay focused, the need to be principled, because desperate times call for desperate measures, and people would be willing to do some things that are unthinkable. But if you are principled and you stick to those principles, I believe that you can always come out a better person. And I would also say, have some sort of network system where if you feel that, I can't take this is too much for me, it's okay to call a friend and say, listen, this is what I'm going through. Because a whole lot of times we've ignored or we've shied away from talking about things that are bothering us because we quickly say, you know what, I can't tell people because this is trivial, but those are the things that get to us. It's the little things that matter the most. So it's okay to talk to someone, you know, even just to call people. I've been saying this, you know what, I'm always available. You can hit my WhatsApp, you can hit my Facebook, I'll respond. I'm willing to talk to you about anything because you don't know the line of thoughts that someone has when they're just talking to you about something. Maybe they just need that ear. They just need, you know, for you to laugh at their silly joke, for them to feel that, you know what, it's okay. Because people are losing hope, and the times that we're in are forcing us to lose hope quickly. So we just need that little bit of love, you know.
Thank you so much, Yolanda, for coming through to talk to us today. And for my royal thoughts this week, listening to Yolanda talk about the state of homelessness and food insecurity in Bulawayo, in the country, it makes me wonder that what am I doing? What are you doing? Are we even aware? Are we acknowledging that there's a crisis? You know, nxa stay at home, don't go out. Abaningi siyangena ezindlini sivale iminyango, but we are forgetting ukuthi bakhona abangakwanisi ukungena ezindlini, and khathesi izulu liyana, and people's resources are really, really stretched, and we're not giving out as much as we used to, and things like that. Do we take a moment to think about how we can help other people? And also, when she spoke about taking responsibility, I know a lot of us are quick to blame government, to blame council, ukuthi izibi zethu azibutwanga, asilamanzi, asilani. If we had to be honest with ourselves and we're being good stewards, my question would be, are you up to date on your rates, on your electricity bill, on your whatever it is? Ama taxes akho abhadelwe yini? Are you up to date so that you can demand these things? Because she did speak about being able to demand from the people that we put into power all these things, but are we able to demand from them with a clean heart? Siwazi ukuthi hayi kungathiwa Maphiri later amaphepha akho lama receipt ngilawo. Or do we just want to take, but never put back? So that makes me really question myself. And I hope it also makes you question yourself. And to do better so that we, and also to elect people. I think on Queening with the Empress, this has become a chorus. Can we learn to elect people into high positions, people that are about us? People that will involve us in decision making, people that will sit there and know that they're not just there for themselves, but they're representing a constituency. So maybe that's something that we also need to take responsibility for, that if you, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Have we maybe voted wrong? And now we have, I don't want to say monkeys, but we have these people that don't represent us. We should do better. We put them in power, and maybe we should start thinking about putting ourselves in power. She says it's a process. We need to be part of it. Don't ever think there's a savior that's coming for you. You are your own savior. So maybe we should start thinking, maybe I should start getting ready to be called honorable Empress, honorable. That's a good idea. So from me today, thank you so much for watching Queening with the Empress. I would love to take this moment to say to you guys, please stay safe. Please stay safe. Mask up, sanitize, wash your hands, stay at home, socially distance. You know it, guys. COVID is real. And all we want is to see this through, and we are all together. Please stay safe, guys. And don't forget to subscribe to Site ZW across all social media platforms, Site ZW, so that you're constantly on the pulse with what's happening around you. From me and everybody else, stay safe, everyone. Bye.